Hi, I'm Ashlyn, and if you're anything like me, you may be a newer watcher of WrestleMania or, wrestling in general. I actually started watching a little over a year ago, and this was before Netflix, but after WrestleMania 40. So I know how playing catch up can feel. So in this video, I'll give a short dive into the wonderful world of WrestleMania to hopefully provide some basic context as we go into this WrestleMania weekend. Think of this as your beginner friendly guide into an epic event. And if you're like millions of people who have been avid wrestling fans for years, hello to you too. Feel free to add your tenured wrestling knowledge, or if you recommend any past matches, feel free to shoot them in the comments. But, just be nice. I am still new, so I might miss some things. All right. So, what is WrestleMania? Imagine the Super Bowl or the World Series or the NBA Finals, but with a lot more fighting and a lot more drama. This is really the biggest, most spectacular professional wrestling event of the year. Think of it as the grand finale of all the storylines and rivalries that tend to brew up for months during the Monday Night Raws and the Friday Night SmackDowns. It's really where the champions are crowned and scores are settled, and often history is made. And a lot of these moments, they become pretty legendary. Now, you might be thinking, okay, Ash, what's with all the fighting? Is it even real? I know that's something I used to, to ask growing up a lot. But that's the $1 million question, right? Professional wrestling is this unique blend of athleticism, some of the best athleticism, in my opinion, storytelling, performance. The matches themselves are choreographed, kind of like a really intense dance or stunt show in a way. The wrestlers are incredible athletes with some amazing strength and agility, but the stories behind the matches, that's the reason why these wrestlers are facing off in the first place. That's where a lot of the magic happens. Think of it as your favorite TV show, but instead of waiting for the next episode, you get a live action packed conclusion in the ring. And over the past year, maybe even longer for some storylines, different wrestlers have had conflicts. Maybe someone stole someone else's championship belt, which has happened and is a very big deal. Or maybe there's a clash of personalities, or maybe someone betrayed their best friend, which has also happened. WrestleMania is often where these long simmering feuds come to a head. It's where the good guys, which are called faces, and they try to overcome the bad guys or the heels. Although sometimes it's not always that cut and dry, which makes it even more interesting. Now, don't feel like you have to know every single detail of every single storyline to enjoy WrestleMania. Part of the fun is just experiencing the spectacle. And for me, watching others react to it is super fun. That's actually how I got into wrestling in the first place, is just seeing how the fans were reacting and enjoying, and that really piqued my interest. So throughout the night, you'll see different kinds of matches. There are single matches where it's one wrestler against another. There are tag team matches where typically two wrestlers team up against another team of two. And then there are special stipulation matches, and these are where things can get really interesting and messy sometimes. Maybe it's a match with no rules, or a match inside of a giant steel cage, or a ladder match, for example, where the goal is to climb a ladder to grab a championship hanging above the ring. So each of these adds a different layer of excitement and drama. And the ultimate prize in wrestling is often a championship, that big shiny belt that signifies that a wrestler is the best in their division. And winning a championship at WrestleMania is a massive achievement and a career highlight for a lot of wrestlers. So you'll often see title matches on the card, and these are usually some of the most highly anticipated matches of the evening. Now, I know it might seem like a lot, but the best way to enjoy WrestleMania is really to just go with the flow. I know when I didn't really know what was going on, it was still a lot of fun. You could just pick a wrestler who you vibe with, and maybe you learn a couple of stories or someone seems interesting and you just kind of root for them. You can cheer when something exciting happens, a lot of booing will happen. Just enjoy the ride, is my recommendation. So I've got the WrestleMania card right here. And I'll quickly run through the matches just to provide a quick glance on them, on what you can expect. So I won't get into each of the storylines. There are definitely other videos out there who you can give you a deep dive into those. So let's get to it. So night one, and this is in no particular order, we have Roman Reigns versus CM Punk versus Seth Rollins. So this is a huge triple threat match, but no specific title is on the line to my knowledge in this match, but it's more about pure animosity. Then we also have Gunther versus Jey Uso for the World Heavyweight Championship. We also have Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair for the WWE Women's Championship. We also have LA Knight versus Jacob Fatu for the WWE United States Championship. I'm still learning all about these championships. I am not certain about the differences between all of them. So, yes, I'm still learning. Then we have the War Raiders versus the New Day. And this is for the World Tag Team Championship. We also have Jade Cargill versus Naomi, and this is a singles match with no title implications. It's really just focused on their personal rivalry. Very interesting storyline for them. And finally, we have Rey Mysterio versus El Grande Americano, which is another singles match. Now on to night two. Night two, again in no particular order, Cody Rhodes versus John Cena for the undisputed WWE Championship. This will be the main event. Um, we also have Io Sky versus Bianca Belair versus Rhea Ripley for the Women's World Championship in a triple threat match. We also have Braun Breaker versus Penta versus Finn Balor versus Dominic Mysterio, and this is for the WWE Intercontinental Championship in a pretty fatal four-way match. Then we have Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez versus Bailey and Lyra Valkyria, and this is for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship. We also have Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre, and this is a Sin City street fight, which means there are no disqualifications and anything goes. There's no title on the line, it's just pure aggression. Then we have AJ Styles versus Logan Paul. This will be a singles match with no championship implications, but it's definitely a clash of styles and personalities. So there you have it. Those are the matches. If you've been curious about WrestleMania, I hope this provides you with some insight into this big event. Let me know in the comments if you'll be watching or if you're going and who you're rooting for in each of the matches. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel for more. Bye.